Hey guys, it's John.
And Kimmy.
And welcome to the very last episode, maybe, of Virtue's Last Reward.
Maybe.
I think so. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It's probably going to be a lot of talking. It's going to be a lot of just
Pounding you with information.
And by the end of it, you could be like, I don't understand what happened. And we can talk about it.
That sounds great.
Okay.
It's at least the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Okay. Because the ending's a lot more complicated than 999. So if I said, we just finished the Q room, which was a culmination of all the previous escape rooms.
And don't worry, guys, we slept. It is almost 12 hours later.
Yes.
We are ready.
Ready to go.
It opened.
We should get back to the Floor A warehouse then.
I don't feel near the despair I did last night.
Good. Hey, wait. Did you guys hear something?
What?
You didn't hear it? Came from over there. It sounds like something turning on. See? I told you. The screen wasn't on before.
It's
You're
just
right.
one lion.
Guess it was set to turn on when we opened the door.
It looks like an authentication screen. I think we need to put in an ID and a password.
Yeah, but what?
That was when I noticed the illustration. The lion is eating the sun. The lion is eating the sun. It's the ninth lion. This is the ninth lion.
This is the ninth lion.
Remember death if the ninth lion ate the sun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Wow.
9.
Oh.
Oh.
So I guess the double headed one.
I guess double-headed one was 1. Yeah. Oh, of course. This was the real ninth lion. But if that was the case,
Memento Mori.
whose death do we use? Who gave us an ID and password after their death?
Wasn't it multiple people? We had to put together through multiple deaths?
Think of one we got the most recently.
Most recently.
Most recently. It was on a card.
It was on a card?
This happened literally like 16 hours ago.
Okay. We did a lot yesterday, so I'm just trying to remember.
Okay. Let's go through the dead characters.
Okay.
We have Kurashiki.
She's dead. She did not have a card.
Yes, she did.
She had the card.
The card had Kurashiki on it.
Oh! So we put in her last name? If I was playing this by myself, A, I would have already given up. I just know that. But B, I'd be digging through my archives. Like, what are they talking about?
Do you remember the password?
Was it on the back of the card?
Yes.
Jumpy doll?
That's right.
See, I do remember some things. We did it!
That seems pretty incriminating of Kurashiki being 0.
Sigma!
Yeah.
Look!
You're...
Akane. Her name is Akane Kurashiki. I've been looking for her for a very long time.
He walked toward her. Slowly, carefully. Almost as if he was afraid of her. Of scaring her away. He reached out.
She's a hologram.
Don't grab her boobs.
Temioji squeezed his eyes shut.
Akane.
He closed his hand around empty air and let it fall to his side. There was a moment of sad silence, and then she began to speak.
I see you finally arrived. I've been waiting for you. Well, I I suppose that's slightly inaccurate. What you see now is a holographic message I recorded before you came here. Unfortunately, this means I will not be able to answer your questions, at least not directly. I hope you will understand. Now, where to begin? You probably have a great many questions. What day is it? Where are we? Who is Zero? And what does he have to do with Akane Kurashiki? But I imagine there is one question that rises above all the others. Why were we brought here? The answer to that is simple. Everything that has happened here is part of our plan. All of this was required for the success of the AB project. I assume you've heard the name by now, at least. In any event, you were all needed in order to execute our plan. The nonary game was necessary for the same reason. Your question now, I imagine, is just what is this AB project? The answer to that is also simple. Allow me to explain. We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of two people into the past. Those two people are you, Sigma, and you, Phi.
What do you mean, the past? The moment the words were out of my mouth, I realized no one there could answer the question. Not Phi, not Temioji, certainly not a pre-recorded hologram.
Have you figured out what this room is? I assume you saw the Q on the door. It stands for quantum. That makes this the quantum room.
It took me a moment to realize she'd changed subjects without even pausing. There was nothing we could do, of course, but I still felt a twinge of frustration.
Take a look at the rear of the room.
They just be like, what?
Do you see that large enclosure?
The rear
That
of the
houses
room.
our quantum computer. The systems that
Sorry.
control this entire facility run on that machine. That includes the construct you refer to as Zero Junior, as well as the golems. All of them do their thinking in that box. Isn't that strange, though? It seems contrary to how we perceive the world. The body, the thing that you see and interact with, is somewhere else.
So this goes back to what you may remember. What's her name? In 999, she was talking about the body being an output device.
Yes.
And she made the analogy of like the monitor and the computer,
Right.
and they're bringing it back.
It was Tippity Tap Tap Belly Dancer, right?
Yeah, belly dancer girl, which I can't remember her name.
But I can see her.
Yeah.
And I remembered.
The mind and all its thoughts are in this box. Perhaps it isn't so strange, though. Perhaps humans are the same, with our minds and thoughts existing separate from our bodies. Our core is in our head, of course. We all have individual brains, think individual thoughts, and act according to individual wills. That makes communication difficult, though. So, we're forced to rely on inefficient mediums, like language, photographs, nonverbal cues, etc., to transmit information. Each one of us is an individual, and we have no direct connection to anyone else. But is that really true? In the dimensions we are most familiar with, yes, it is. If we look at things from another higher dimension, however, we may all be connected after all, like the branches of a tree or a rhizome.
What's a
Imagine
rhizome?
a horizontal cross-section of the root system of a large tree.
Just say a web.
All you can see are the spots where the roots intersect the plane of your cross-section. In the two dimensions you see, the roots all appear to be individual things with no connection to one another. But this isn't the case. If you expand your view and look at the root system in 3 dimensions instead of only 2, you see the truth. might appear to be separate from one another in 3 dimensions could be connected to one another if you look at them in 4 dimensions. Doesn't that at least seem like it could be a possibility? I believe that is how human consciousness actually works. Well, I'm not the only one, I suppose. Zero and I share that belief.
Morphogenetic field theory.
Tenmyoji mumbled something that sounded like nonsense. I opened my mouth to ask him what it meant, but Akane was already talking again.
Now, when I talk about a 4th dimension, I'm referring to the 4th dimension used in Minkowski space-time. Let's start with a single dimension, where all that exists is a point. Connect points to one another, and you have a line. In 1 dimension, the only surface you can create is that, a line. But move to 2 dimensions and create more lines, and you can create shapes. These are 2-dimensional surfaces. Move up to 3 dimensions, and you can connect these shapes to one another and form 3-dimensional objects. Now you have a 3-dimensional surface, which encompasses a volume of space. Connect 3-dimensional objects to one another, and you formed a 4-dimensional object, which encompasses a volume of both space and time. It is on that 4th dimensional axis that our minds are connected. If that was true, then what would prevent anyone from sending their consciousness backward or forward in time? That theory is the foundation of the AB project. The A represents after, and the B represents before.
Not ally betray.
But after before.
It probably sounds silly to you. A ridiculous story made up by a mad old woman. But look at what's happened to you. You've seen many different worlds and timelines, haven't you, Sigma? And what about you, Phi? I know you have too. Am I wrong? Tenmyoji should know what I'm talking about as well. I believe you experienced something very similar nearly half a century ago. You sent your consciousness to the past to help save a little girl's life. It was a long time ago, but perhaps you still remember.
Yeah, of course I do. How could I forget? That little girl was you, Akane.
Suddenly, it felt like Phi and I were outsiders, trespassing on something we had no right to see. Tenmyoji's face was taut with emotion as he looked into Akane's eyes. It seemed almost like she was looking back at him.
Now, unfortunately, my time is up. The final stage of the project will begin very soon. I need to go prepare. The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting. One last thing. The cat in the box. Is it alive? Or is it dead? Sigma? Phi? You will decide its fate. Goodbye.
Wait! Akane, wait!
Oh, Tenmyoji. I can almost see you. You don't need to worry. Everything is going to be okay. I will see you again one day. I promise. But I'm going to have to ask you to wait just a little longer.
Wait! Akane!
And then she was gone. Tenmyoji collapsed to his knees, his back hunched and shaking. I saw tears land on the white-knuckled fists he pressed against his thighs. I kept quiet. What was there to say? Fi and I looked at one another and nodded silently. With a shaking hand, Tenmyoji pulled a photograph out of his pocket. It was a picture of a girl. After all that we'd been through, her smile was enough to break your heart.
So when are we going to see her?
Oh, you'll see.
Which day?
You'll see. So Tenmyoji is Junpei,
Right.
confirmed officially.
Right, which we've suspected that for a while. Because the second he pulled out that picture, I was like, oh, okay, hey, Junpei. Was Tenmyojo always Tenmyoji?
Tenmyojo.
So bad at names.
Okay.
Was that always his last name?
I don't think his last name's ever mentioned in 999, which is one reason why they addressed him by his last name here.
Right.
Junpei Tenmyoji is his full name, though.
Okay.
Yeah. We made our way to the warehouse on floor A and met up with the others. It took only a few minutes to decide to head to the infirmary. Right, because that's where she is.
Right.
As soon as we arrived, we began to treat Alice and Quark for Radical 6. I gave Luna the Accelavir that I'd found in the Q room.
Shouldn't they, like, go double it and stuff?
Yeah, you'd think that they would take each and double them. But I don't think they knew about the in this timeline, they don't know about the duplicator thing.
Boo.
Boo!
It makes me sad that they can't, like, ensure that they can each have one, you know?
They injected Alice and Quark.
Goodness. It will take some time for them to recover completely, but they should be fine.
That's okay, we don't need them anyway.
Good.
Indeed.
Thank you, Luna. And thanks for finding the medicine, you guys. Thank you so much.
Don't sweat it.
No need to thank us.
Tenmyoji said nothing, just walked over to Quark's unconscious body. He took the small boy's hand in his own and held it tight. I could see tears at the corners of his eyes as he turned away from us. Suddenly, I remembered. Dio. Where had he gone? It didn't take me long to find him. He was sprawled unconscious on the floor beneath the sink. Handcuffs.
Oh, we found those in the crew quarters. Before you returned, we went to check on the bomb in room 2, and we found them there. Of course, the bomb was indeed turned off. Thank you again for dealing with them. You are, quite literally, lifesavers. You have my eternal gratitude.
Oh.
I coughed awkwardly and looked pointedly around the room. I glanced over at Fi to see she was doing the same thing.
And Fi's just like her normal stance.
Yeah. After that, we headed back to the floor A warehouse to play the AB game. Specifically me, Fi, Kay, and Luna. Clover and Tenmyoji decided to remain in the infirmary, just in case something happened with Alice, Quark, or Dio. Luna would represent Clover's team. With Quark and Dio sleeping, Kay would represent their team by default, which left me, Fi, and Tenmyoji. This is the first time that we've played an AB game after the third escape room.
Yep.
You should vote.
No, I'll let you handle it. I chose Betray in the last round. You probably don't trust me right now.
What? That doesn't matter now.
Excuse me. I apologize for interrupting, but I think you should be the one to vote in the next round fight.
Why?
You already have 9 BP. There's no reason for you to choose Betray now, you see?
Hey, you're acting like I might actually try and betray her.
Not necessarily.
What does it matter what he's suggesting? We're almost there. We just have to play the AB game 3 more times. Then we can all get 9 points. But that means each representative has to choose ally all 3 times.
It's gonna show us. That's what we gotta do. And the reason we gotta do this is because Tenmyoji and Luna are at 3.
And Alice.
Oh yeah, and Alice.
Okay, I'll vote. You sure you're alright with this, Sigma?
Yeah, I trust you.
He's like, what does it matter if you betray us and I can just hop to another timeline? Like,
Yeah. I hand her the star key.
Shall we open the doors?
If you betray me, I can just hop back and betray you back.
right.
An Ambidex 40?
Oh, right. We have to wait for the deadline.
Oh, well, we could vote earlier, but then each voter would be stuck inside the AB room for 45 minutes.
Ugh, gross.
Okay, let's go back to the infirmary then.
I agree. Please, lead the way.
Luna and Kay set off toward the yellow door. I was about to follow when...
Hold on. I just remembered something.
What?
The AB room on the left, in one of the other histories, she...
Oh, yeah. You're right. Akane's body was in there. What does this mean? Why didn't we find her body this time? They're finally addressing it. Because
Oh
remember,
my
we didn't find her
god,
body.
yeah.
She's not in the infirmary, I forgot.
Yeah.
Maybe because she wasn't murdered.
But how? What did history change?
Do you remember what Akane said?
The cat in the box. Is it alive? Or is it dead? Sigma? Phi? You will decide its fate.
The Schrodinger's cat thing.
Exactly.
I wonder what she meant about us deciding its fate.
Perhaps she was saying her own fate wasn't decided yet.
She's both alive and dead.
Oh my god.
Huh?
The history where she's alive and the history where she's murdered are both real right now.
What? No, that's impossible. We've already opened the box. We opened the door to this AB room and there was no body.
No, we haven't opened the box. We haven't found a body, but we haven't found her alive yet either. In other words, we haven't actually observed her. The hologram was a recording from before this game started.
The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting.
Come and find us.
Yeah, I know. Where was Akane now? Or was she waiting for us? Or what if she wasn't anywhere now? What if she was waiting for us in another timeline? Or what if she was waiting for us in the past? Was that even possible? If she was, what would that mean?
There are too many possibilities.
Yeah.
They could spend years looking for her. Sort of.
So
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah. We have a new destination on the flowchart though. This is
course we
where we're gonna start hopping around quite a bit.
Oh my god.
So we got this new destination before where we started in the elevator. AB room.
Let's go to the past.
Let's go. Ugh. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Damn it. Feels like my head's gonna explode. Wait. Where the hell am I? Looks like an elevator, but...
No, this is one of the AB rooms.
Gah! Who the hell are you? And what the hell's an AB room?
Damn. I guess you did lose your memory after all.
Memory. Memory.
Give us a second, Phi.
Yeah,
We
give us a second. We
just woke
gotta
up.
watch the montage.
Right. Because clearly she's been awake, so she's been able to see it.
Yeah, yeah. I remember. You're Phi. She grinned. That's her grin.
John, she's like,
What is
Check
this?
your bracelet.
It's a red pear. BP is 3.
Mine's the same.
Does this mean this is the beginning of the game? We've gone back to when we first woke up in the AB room.
No, not quite. I think we woke up a little earlier this time.
How do you know?
Push the buttons on the side of your bracelet.
2 hours, 15 minutes.
We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time. I think we're about an hour early.
Wait a minute. If you're right,
Yeah. Akane might still be alive. We got back before Dio killed her. I think.
then
Right. We're here for one reason.
They have to sacrifice one of themselves.
to stop her from getting killed.
Exactly.
Let's move. We need to get out of here. Fast.
Don't need to tell me twice. Let's go.
And we have to do this room again.
We don't have to because we know the escape. We know the escape password.
Oh, right. I would have been like, all right, we gotta gather these tools. You need to remember the password for the safe. We figured it out last time.
Once password is found, it will never change.
Woohoo!
So yeah. Star, moon.
And we don't need to do the gold again.
We don't need to do anything except get the key and get out.
I like it.
There, it's open.
Good work. Hurry up and grab the cracker.
Cracker?
Damn, I meant key.
How the hell?
Just shut up and do it.
So we got the key.
I like when Fi gets mad.
We don't have to do anything else. All right, let's just put this key in here.
For God's sake, just do it already.
No need to yell. All right.
Good. Looks like that worked.
Ready, Fi?
What do you think?
I know. I don't need to ask every time, right?
Then why the hell are you asking? Hurry up and...
Right. I'm going. 10, 9,
Oh my God.
8.
Oh my God. 1! Done! She's just like...
Yeah.
Why does Fi like to waste time? Or why does Sigma like to waste
I don't
time?
know. Hey, you push the button.
Bite me. You were taking too long. We're on a schedule here.
Ugh.
You found it.
You found it.
You did it. Let's go fight Dio.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Fi and I climbed up through the hatch and out onto the top of the AB room. It took us only a moment to spot them. Akane. Behind her was Dio. He was moving quickly and quietly, a knife glinting in his right hand. Shit. There was no time to yell to her. I scrambled down from the top of the AB room.
I feel like there is time to yell at her.
Yeah.
Or yell at Dio.
Fi wasn't following me. When I looked back, she was still staying on the roof. Fi! What the hell are you doing? Get down here and... Before I could finish, she moved.
Superhero!
She ran across the roof, launched herself into the air. What the?
He's fine. Just unconscious.
I broke his neck.
Yeah, broke his, yeah. I killed him. I bent down and held my fingers in front of his mouth. He was still breathing.
I don't think he saw me. He probably has no idea what happened to him.
Guy went down like a sack of potatoes.
He had it coming.
He sure did.
I heard footsteps coming to a stop right in front of us. I looked up.
So you came. I've been
Hey,
waiting
girl.
for you. You're here to hear the rest, right?
Wait. Just wait a minute. What the hell is your deal? How can you be so calm? If we hadn't shown up just now, you'd...
Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died. Yes. Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you saving me.
What?
Hold on. How do you know about being stabbed by Dio? Are you an Esper too?
Yes, indeed I am. I am able to jump through time, just like you.
What the hell were you thinking? If you knew he was going to stab you, why were you going to let him do it?
Because I had to.
What?
Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested. I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least. In order for that to happen, some death was necessary. When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases. Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few seconds can feel like an eternity. Unfortunately, that in itself isn't enough to send oneself through time. The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down the brain before the increase happens. It's a little like a slingshot. You pull back on the rubber band and then let go. The potential energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy. That's what fires the bullet out of the slingshot. Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited. When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain, it travels past the three-dimensional world and into the four-dimensional one. From that perspective, time is no longer fixed. In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like. Your consciousness has been released from the three-dimensional cage. In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
Whoa, what?
We're infected with Radical 6?
Yes. Don't you remember,
Yes.
Sigma? Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are you sure? Infecting all of these people with such a horrible disease?
So everyone does have.
Every single one of you has been infected. Well, apart from Luna, of course. Unfortunately, it was necessary. We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy. Then we provided a dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing. Your consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time. Even that, however, wasn't enough. You had the ability to travel, but your memories could easily be lost during the trip. If the project was to succeed, you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times. With each jump, your ability to remember improved. Eventually, you would be able to retain everything. That is why we made you play the AB game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
I get it. I think I finally understand. Well, okay, there are a lot of things I don't understand, but all of what you've just told me makes sense. You did all of this so that Fi and I could jump through four-dimensional space with our memories intact, right?
Yes.
Why'd you need us to do that? People have died for this. I mean, let's count how many different ways people died. Murder, antimatter explosion, suicide. I've died, so has Phi, so have you.
She's like, yeah. But we're alive in this one!
So why would you do all this? What does it matter that Phi and I jumped through time?
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You are all destined to die. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
I already know all that. What I'm asking you is why? What is so goddamn important that it's worth all this?
I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually.
What? Just when is eventually?
In a future not very far from now.
Bullshit. That's not good enough. Why can't you tell us now? Instead of answering, Akane knelt down next to Dio and picked his knife up off the floor.
I'm going to keep this with me.
Don't change the subject.
But it's almost time.
What are you talking about? We've got plenty of time.
No. In a few moments, you'll return to the original timeline.
What?
This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Lagomorph.
Yes.
Lagomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Lagomorph. Lagomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Compliance. Lagomorph.
It basically means rabbit. Like,
Now, everything is in place.
I like
have
Zero
put the
Jr.
bracelet onto Dio. All we have to do is place his body in the 5th AB room, the second one from the right.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the 3rd AB room. Once that's done, I will reset its puzzle to an unsolved state.
why do you need to do all that?
To recreate the history that you remember. Your consciousness is about to leave your body and return to the future. Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in. If your bodies aren't back in the 3rd AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our 2nd or 3rd time.
You are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you.
She paused and pulled something out of her pocket. It was a small key attached to a string.
I'll tie it onto your ankle so that you won't lose it. All right, Sigma?
I don't think that short string could go around anyone's ankle.
What's it say on there?
Tu fui ego eris.
It's Latin.
We
It
know.
means, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
Remember where we saw those in the security room? It was part of the final puzzle. We had to
Yeah.
arrange the letters in that order. What you are, I
Yeah.
was. What I am, you will be.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do with it?
It will help you meet someone who's very important.
What?
Go. Return to the future. You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you. Now hurry.
Wait. I still...
So what controls when they jump? Do they explain that?
I mean, she said that... She said that, danger. Among other things. A sense of
Right.
urgency has... dread... an extreme sense of urgency has to be created. So, yeah, now we're back here. So we were
up there.
there. Now we're back down here.
Now we have a key around her ankle.
Yes, because she placed it there.
Oh, looks like you're awake.
Is this the infirmary?
Why are we here?
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
so we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
Luna is very strong because she's a golem.
I looked over at Phi and met her eyes. Do you remember what happened just now?
You mean what happened a long time ago?
Yeah. You got him pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I remember all right.
So, now that we're back in the future, this is why we never found Akane murdered, and why Dio is so weird at the beginning of this branch.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's the only rounds in which he didn't betray were in this timeline.
Right.
And he acts all like shaken up, like what's going on?
Where he's like, I don't actually understand
Yeah.
what's happening. Yeah.
It's because of what happened before the game that we just.
Because all he knows is that he did not kill Akane. Or
And
he
that they
didn't kill anyone, and
yeah.
he was just in the game all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's in as much trouble as everyone else. He's lost his sense of control.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right. So.
The cord got wrapped around my leg.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
Quark.
What am I? Chopped liver?
You're so funny,
Hey
Alex.
guys, don't forget about me.
What am I? Chopped liver?
No, I just. The corny lines.
I know, it's just
Back
funny.
among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks. Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for us.
No problem. All in a day's work. Although, I wouldn't mind a little swimsuit action.
Really grabbing at
Quark?
straws here, aren't you?
No. Hey, I wasn't talking to Quark. That was an offer for Alice.
Not really my point.
Whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
Huh?
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
It says 10. I have 10 BP.
I've got 15 BP? That
Oh,
means I
wow.
got 6 more points while I was out.
But how?
You've been asleep for more than 2 hours. We've played the AB game 3 times.
3 times?
Yes. Of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time. But no matter who voted, everyone chose ally.
Because y'all weren't here to fuck it up.
Right. Well, there's no more distrust now that Dio's chained up and they never found the old woman dead.
Right.
You know?
And now all of us have enough to leave.
That's what it took for them all to hit 9 points. And also, like, recovered from Radical 6. Nobody's sick, nobody's dying, Dio's chained up, they didn't find someone murdered, like,
The bombs are.
the bombs,
taken care
yeah,
of.
there's no bombs, like, everything's been taken care of, so. I was stunned. How had everyone cooperated long enough to raise all of our BP past 9? Was it because Akane hadn't been killed? Without a death to start things off, maybe we'd been less suspicious of one another. Or could the bombs have had something to do with it? We'd all joined forces against Dio, and Fine I had been able to disarm all of them. All of us had banded together against a common enemy and overcome a tremendous threat. Perhaps that has strengthened our bond, which is exactly what Luna proposes.
Yes.
Yeah. Which, I had to admit, would be somewhat ironic. After all, Dio had planted the bombs that forced us all to work together against him. This must have been what Akane was talking about.
Haven't I told you death was unavoidable? Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project.
She's exactly right.
Come on, let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
Wait, What about him? After some discussion, we decided to leave Dio behind.
Whoa.
Alice was the only holdout. She'd complained about wanting to take him back to her superiors, but after I mentioned they'd come back to investigate after we escaped and deal with Dio then, she reluctantly complied.
All right, let's get going.
But if they leave him chained up there, like, he'll die.
Yeah, depending on how. I think they're expecting a quick investigation afterwards.
At least, like, make sure he has food and water nearby.
He's by a sink
Yeah,
with running water.
just makes me nervous.
Everybody ready? I'm gonna open it.
Yes, just get on with it.
Everyone else swallowed and nodded. I grabbed the lever and pulled it down.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Some fries, motherfucker.
I'm excited. I'm shaking my leg a lot. I'm trying not to, like, touch the desk.
Me too. It's
The number 9 door.
Shut up, Akane. We're far from over, by the way. All right, everybody, let's move. This is not even close to being done. I need to tell them twice. The room inside was clearly a loading elevator. Looked sort of like a large plate on top of a huge pedestal. We ran to the center of the plate and turned around. The number 9 door stood wide open.
2, 1, 0. The number 9 door is closing.
Dio comes sliding in at the last second.
Yeah, he slithers underneath the closing door. I do have to say, as far as like a villain goes, I much prefer Ace to Dio.
Yeah, because Ace at least, like, was confusing, you know?
The
Yeah,
number 9. This ends.
because
Thank you. As the game
it's reasonable to assume that he's like someone just like the rest of them that has motivations to have them all escape.
Yeah.
With Dio, it's like kind of from the get-go, he's abrasive.
Yeah, he's just like, screw it.
I mean, you'd think he's just like a smug little shit at first.
Which he is. It's not wrong.
Yeah. But anyway.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that he's capable of murder and all sorts of diabolical shit.
Heinous crimes.
Yeah.
I like this music. I like the...
Looks like we did it.
Yes, we should keep moving.
Beyond the door was a wide hallway that ended in a very solid wall. To the left, we found a very familiar looking door. We pushed it open and went in. It's the PEC, just like in the Dio ending. We went through here with Phi.
Mm-hmm.
The pressure exchange chamber.
You know what this place is?
Yeah, sort of. This whole facility is pressurized, apparently. I think the idea is to keep the air outside and consequently the virus from getting inside. That means if we want to go out, we have to decompress so we match the outside air pressure. This room here is where you prepare for going into the pressure exchange chamber. You see all those suits along the wall? I figure we need to put these on and head to the decompression room downstairs.
Whoa! Hold on a minute. You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
Yeah, that's what it seems like. Of course, according to Akane, we were all already infected with Radical 6, so the whole room seemed a little pointless.
Yeah.
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No, that's not possible.
Oh, I can't tell you how bored I am.
We're
with their-
spies.
With their little secret agent role play.
Yeah.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
All right.
No one else objected. We all donned the protective suits and head downstairs to the decompression room. So if you remember, we still have a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, we do.
Like, why does Kay look like us?
Mm-hmm.
For example. was
really
the whole
hope-
thing with Free the Soul and Brother and Radical Six and like
What's that all about?
what's the outside world like? All sorts of questions.
Are
What's
we
the
on the
key
moon?
for? We still got that key.
Yep. Is Quark us?
Why do we need to go, why do we need to be able to travel through time?
Right.
As soon as we were all inside, the process began. Through my helmet, I could hear the soft hiss of air being sucked out of the room. We stood there for several minutes, waiting for the process to finish.
Cool.
At last it did, and we heard the door begin to open. Beyond it was another decompression chamber. We repeated the process 2 more times before we reached the final door and opened it. So now they're finally outside.
And what is this place?
The dead, bleak landscape wasn't a surprise for me. I'd seen it before in another timeline. In Dio's ending, remember?
Right.
The others hadn't, however, and although I couldn't see their faces through the visors of their helmets, I heard more than a few gasps over the radio. For a few long moments, we just stood there, astonished.
Where the hell are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't know, but I think I know what day it is. Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse.
So?
Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge? Well, the next eclipse like this was gonna be on December 31st, 2028. So...
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
I think so.
Wherever we were must have been far away from any city. The air was clearer than I'd ever seen it. And the stars. The sky was full of them. More stars than I'd ever seen in my life. I could even spot the hazy arm of the Milky Way. The most striking feature was the moon. It was blood red and massive. Much bigger, in fact, than I remembered it being. Then, as I watched, a black spot began to move across its surface. It was hard to see details, but it looked circular. The spot continued to move across the moon, headed for the right edge. What's that?
The moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually.
The moon's shadow? I frowned. That didn't make any sense.
Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot, and brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her. Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow.
What the hell are you saying?
Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
That's Earth?
Yeah. It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon, covering the sun.
What? No. No way. If that's the Earth, then where the hell are we?
We're on
Come
the
on.
Moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base. No way. No, you've gotta be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah. That's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. So what's this?
She picked up a rock and dropped it.
See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looked that way.
Luna?
You were right about the gravity in a way. I was one of the people who knew this wasn't Earth. Well, I suppose I'm not people, if we're being honest, but
Excuse me? What?
please Please just listen. Alice, you were infected with Radical 6. Then we gave you the Excelivir, which cured you. The Radical 6 isn't completely gone, though. Some of its symptoms stick around for a while.
What symptoms?
Well, Radical 6 can slow down your brain's processing speed by the root of 1/6. It can take a while for your brain to get back up to speed. Every one of us has been infected. In other words, all of our brains have been processing information at a much lower speed. If you evaluated the root of 1/6, you'll get a number close to 0.408. That means our brains are running at something slightly less than half speed. As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's. The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration. Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Let me give you an example. Say you drop an apple from a height of 4.9 meters. It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground. On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. The gravity constant is, well, a constant. You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense? So now we've established that on the moon, things fall 6 times slower than they do on Earth. That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6? To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. 4.9 seconds would feel like 2. But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
Wait, you're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity?
Are you sure you didn't notice anything? Think back.
Huh?
You and Sigmund Phi said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird. It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating. Like that.
It seemed insane, but what Luna said made sense. This is one of those things in the game where I'm like, I'll just take your word for it.
I remember that conversation.
Not
yeah.
that conversation, but this whole thing about Radical 6
Yeah.
offsetting the weaker gravity of the moon, and that's why they didn't notice. It's one of those things like, fine.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay. Why not?
not gonna
Your
sit here
world.
and dissect it.
Yeah.
In fact, it explained Phi's apparently superhuman strength quite well,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, okay. I like that explanation as opposed to she's just really good at jumping.
Yeah.
Wait, this is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth, and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell you something. This isn't New Year's Eve in 2028. Today is January 27th.
And 29?
No,
Don't tell me. 30?
still no.
It's like 78.
Is this?
It's 74. 2074.
No. That's insane. That would mean we were abducted more than 45 years ago.
I don't blame you if you don't believe me, but it's the truth.
How can you be sure?
It's not that hard. Quark and I left Earth on January 23rd, 2074. Solar eclipses are easy to predict. We've known that there'd be one on the 27th for a long time. That's just science. Nobody can change that.
But why is the Earth red?
That's a long story. About 45 years ago, on April 13th, 2029, there were 18 annihilation reactors operating in various parts of the world. On the 13th, all 18 of them went up, all at the same time. The explosion was about 180,000 times as powerful as the atom bomb they dropped on Hiroshima.
What? Why?
I suppose it started a few months before that. The government had a test site for a future Mars mission out in the middle of Nevada. On December 31st, 2028, there was an accident. Well, accident doesn't quite convey the right sense of the thing. The point is, Radical 6 claimed its first victims there, then escaped. Didn't take long for it to spread to the rest of the world. Like Luna explained, the virus slows your brain down, but eventually, it also makes you kill yourself. Pretty soon, the bodies started to pile up. Some people would take a dive off a building or shoot themselves in the head. You know, the classics.
The Happening, basically.
But
Right.
for some, it was poison, or fire,
Or bird box.
asphyxiation, or the noose.
Right.
Plenty of people jumped in front of trains or cars. One pilot on a passenger airline drove his plane into the ground. Most forms of transportation ground to a halt pretty fast. That meant food couldn't get distributed, and thousands of people who weren't even infected died from starvation. Everywhere you went, there were just piles of corpses, covered in flies and rats and crows. I don't know what hell's like, but I imagine it's a lot like that. After a while, people who managed to avoid getting infected started trying to get in touch with one another. They got a hold of some radios and organized a couple meetings. There was only one thing to discuss, of course. How could they get rid of Radical 6? The answer, they decided, was purification. They figured they could just roast the surface of the Earth and that'd kill the virus off for good. On April 13th in 2029, they put their plan into effect. That plan was to detonate all 18 annihilation reactors.
Seems like a terrible plan.
Yeah, annihilate all life on Earth, basically.
Now the truth is, that's mostly just rumor. Nobody really knows what happened, but I've got my own theories. I think that the bombers had already been infected, and when they died, they took billions with them. The ultimate if I die, you're coming with me gesture, I suppose. I'd bet you money they'd all lost it long before they got to the reactors. Killing most of the world, no matter how bad things had gotten, was not a sane plan, even if it wasn't directly responsible. Radical 6 killed most of the people on Earth. Anyway, why it happened isn't that important. Point is, it happened. You ever heard of nuclear winter? Well, that's basically what we got. The explosions threw a ton of crap up into the stratosphere, where it joined up with smoke and ash from all the fires. It blotted out the sun for 7 years. Plants withered, and animals died by the millions. The few humans who were left banded together to survive. They were rough times. Eventually they were over, though. The sky cleared and the sun came back. Plants started blooming again, and the animals that hadn't died out completely began to reappear. Things weren't quite back to normal, though. It's been 45 years now. But there's still quite a bit of dust and ash in the air. That's what you're seeing. You know why a sunset's red? Well, this is the same thing. Blue and green light have short wavelengths, and they scatter when they run into debris in the air. Red light, on the other hand, has a longer wavelength, which means it'll get a lot farther when the air's dirty. So there you are. The Earth looks red because that's the only color of light that can make it through the atmosphere.
I was speechless. What could I possibly say? There's no reason for Tenmyoji to lie to us. So we're standing on the moon, looking at the Earth. It was 2074, but why? Why were we there? Why were we then? You'll find out.
I'm sure.
I was so lost in thought I barely noticed Phi's approach.
Hey, Sigma, I think I figured something out.
A window popped up on the inside of my helmet with Whisper in the corner. She seemed to be using a circuit only we could hear. Yeah? What is
I
it?
figured out why there's an extra E.
An extra E?
In
Oh,
the Nineth?
you mean the graffiti?
Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram, just like on floor A.
What's Anna say this time?
God damn it, Sigma! Knock it off! Memento mori if the ninth lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get, the man on the moon rules the infinite time. See? You need 6 E's to get that. So they stuck an extra one in 9th.
Huh?
The man on the moon rules the infinite time.
I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane. Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of 2 people into the past. Those 2 people are you, Sigma, and you, Vaughn.
So, where are you getting at?
My God, you're slow. You don't get it? They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you think they're going to send us back 45 years?
Yeah. I'd bet on it.
So the ultimate purpose of the AB project is to send us back in time to that catastrophe Tenmyoji was talking about.
I think so.
That doesn't make sense, though. I mean, we came from that same time period. Before it, actually. So why bring us here and then send us back?
Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit.
Do you know where she is?
I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
Tu fui ego eris.
Do you remember the grave in the bee garden?
Barely. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's where we've heard that before. And there's a keyhole on it.
Let's go check it out.
It was the only thing in the bee garden we didn't do anything with. The grave. The one in the garden.
Well, come on, what are you waiting for? Let's go.
How can you get back in? Unless they're gonna jump.
They're gonna go back down the elevator. We turned and ran back into the pressure exchange chamber. The others following close behind.
What are you doing? Did you forget something?
We're going to go have a talk with somebody.
Who?
You really need me to spell it out? The person behind all this.
You mean Akane?
What?
I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
I'll tell you when we get there. Now, if you please. I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
Akane.
Yeah.
I'm going to then. So am I.
Yeah, everyone's like, we're all going.
Hey,
You get it.
Is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're not, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Arg! Shut up! Just shut up. Come on if you want to. We don't need to do roll call.
Yeah.
Once we get there, Akane can explain everything. With that, we headed back through the airlock. So yeah, we're going back.
Can we open the door from the outside?
You'll see what happens.
The whole thing explodes.
Yeah, the whole thing explodes. That's what happens.
The end. We got the explosive
I
ending.
think Kimmy's not in charge of the game.
I don't appreciate it.
And then they all die.
And then they all died at the end. Bye.
That would be if Kimmy got tired.
Yeah. That's when I
Wanted to go
need
to
to take a break. Yeah.
That would have been Kimmy last night if she was finishing up the
Oh
game.
my god. Yeah, I'm really glad we went to bed.
Yeah.
Ah, clever. The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends. Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course. But the door on floor B...
Yeah. Thought we might be able to take the lift to it. And it looks like I was right.
So the door that we
Any
didn't
idea
know what
where
it
Akane
did,
might be?
that's where we came. It was for us to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. The grave.
You mean the grave in the garden?
Yeah. Don't worry. I don't think she's buried there or anything. Chances are she's alive. Just in the grave. Anyway, let's move
What is she?
to the garden.
She like tiny and in that little headstone thing.
You'll see.
She's like pocket size Akane.
You'll see. You'll see.
We unlock it and she's like this big.
You'll see. Things are about to get nuts.
Oh my god.
Like, they've been taking it easy till now.
I'm not shocked that it's 45 years in the future.
Yeah.
I'm
all
glad
that
they
stuff,
did that.
You could have figured it out or guessed.
Yeah.
Like,
because people were harping on it so much.
We're on the moon of Earth subversion of your expectation. Like, we're in the future. We kind of figured that had to be the case since Junpei
Is
and
Akane
Akane
really under here?
Are old.
are old.
Yeah.
And Clover is somehow the same age, which they haven't touched on that yet, but we can assume that she was in cryosleep with Alice and us.
Right. And Phi.
Yeah, or Phi. Not really sure. Maybe there's not only 3. We'll find out.
Yeah.
I think so.
What should we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
No, I don't think we'll have to do anything like that. You see the keyhole on the grave? If I just insert this here. Pulled the key off my ankle and fitted it into the hole. I twisted it to the right until I heard something unlock. With a quiet grinding, the grave began to shift. A 4th treatment pod.
It doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
The glass on the cover had frosted over, making it opaque. We couldn't see who or what was in it.
Let's see what's inside.
She grabbed a hold of the lever on the side of the pod.
No good. I think it's locked.
What?
Treatment pod TP00. Stage 1 defrosting complete. Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes. Once stage 2 is complete, the lock will automatically disengage.
Right. Cold sleep.
What?
These pods can put people into cold sleep. It uses something called CAS to freeze human bodies without destroying their cells, which is a real thing.
Right.
So,
But it doesn't
Miss
work like this.
Akane's like
Right.
an ice cube?
I think so.
Then we gotta wait till she melts?
Yeah.
Defrost.
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered
What do you remember?
everything.
Remember the K ending?
I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB project.
The AB project?
It's like he said in his ending about everything. It's finally lining up.
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past.
Back 45 years, right?
Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly.
What do you mean?
It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
What do you mean?
Let me begin at the beginning. You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories.
And it has.
Puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand.
Thanks.
First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028.
Just like they said.
The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't you, Clover? I mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension. Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking. As I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power. You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh?
But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat of mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust.
So they didn't even show that.
This history exists because of your
Yeah,
presence.
they did.
Her doing the math?
In her head. She did it in her head. Remember, we had the conversation with her in her ending in the garden?
Yeah.
And she did all that math in her head with the numbers that we remembered?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shit. Alright. Alright. Okay.
Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark.
Yeah, I'd love to know why you needed Quark.
Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I hadn't been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, we headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, his real name is Left.
So we didn't actually
He's the
need
leader
Quark.
of a terrorist
Nope.
organization called
He's
the
just-
Myrmidons.
Timyoji just insisted he come along.
He was ordered to come here.
Yeah. Quark's very disappointing.
The
Yeah.
Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul.
I had a
which
lot
is
of
in turn
theories.
controlled by a man known as Brother.
Anyway.
It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6
We already know
into
this,
the general
basically.
population 45 years ago.
We know that he released Radical 6, right?
Yeah.
They already said that, okay.
Do you remember what Phi mentioned
No,
earlier?
actually, they didn't say that before, I don't think, but it's strongly hinted at. Like,
The
it's not
ultimate purpose
shocking.
of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given 2 tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed. At least, not in that timeline. In other words, in that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan. If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9. Hence, the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed?
I hope Brother is Clover's brother.
Snake. No one objected. We were all curious.
Excellent. That explains everyone, save 2, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time. Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility, but I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma. In another timeline.
Yeah, well, I saw a hologram. I still don't know who he is.
Stage 2 is complete. TP00 unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Yeah, let's do it. All of us gathered around the pod. The glass was still covered with frost, hiding the contents.
Okay, let's get started then. Ready?
Phi,
I thought you didn't
I
want.
thought you didn't want a countdown. Go! Phi laid her hand on the lever and looked around at us. I swallowed.
This
Yeah.
does seem like the best time to ask the "Are you ready?" question.
Yeah, it does. Anytime.
All right, here we go. 3,
Okay, don't have to
2,
count down.
1.
Is that Sigma?
What? Suddenly, my head was full of memories from other timelines. I'd seen something like this before. The warehouse of floor B. In front of the white door. Kay was lying in front of me. I grabbed his mask and saw my own face. I never figured out who he really was. Why was there a man with my face under Kay's armor? It didn't make sense. After I'd seen him, I was injected with tubocurine, and that was the end of that. But wait, if the person in the pod was the same person I'd seen on the floor of the warehouse, Who was wearing Kay's armor?
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
No. Oh my god, you're...
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
Kay.
It's you. June, I mean, Akane, from... But you're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane. Long time no see.
I could barely hear what they were saying. My mind was still reeling. It felt like all the air had been knocked out of me, and it was all I could do not to collapse right then and there.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse? Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the 3rd AB room and then took Dio's to the 5th. After that, I went into the 1st room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. Dio killed you, and then Luna took your body to the 6th room. You couldn't have been in Kay's armor.
No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
So that was the box.
That was the box.
The box was Kay.
Yeah. What? No, that's nuts.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of Soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Total stranger.
Right? What the fuck? Hey, come on! What are you guys saying? Right here. Same face?
Are you all right, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
Huh? What? It didn't make any sense. Why didn't they recognize me?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future.
What does that mean?
Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future. From 45 years ago.
We're old.
I looked around frantically. A pond! I ran to it and threw myself down onto my knees. Crawling on all fours, I approached the edge. My heart was hammering inside my chest. A cold sweat trickled down my spine. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, damn it. I struggled to take deep breaths. Then slowly, I peered into the pond, looking for my reflection. What? No. This can't be real. This face.
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
What? No, that's not possible. That's bullshit.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor.
I'm not a doctor.
You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering.
You're lying.
No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him.
Create.
His name is Kyle Klein, your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle.
And
Well, I
Kyle
suppose
is
for
Kay.
you, that's still in the future.
So the story we heard from Kay, where he was like, I grew up here, I didn't
Yes.
have a mom,
Yes.
Akane came.
That was Kyle.
That's Kyle.
That's Kyle.
Who looks like us, but is not us.
Is a clone of Sigma, but a younger version.
Right.
Basically, he created like a clone and raised it as his like son in the armor of K. And so when we got K's ending, that was Kyle in the armor.
That was Kyle's ending.
Akane is in the armor in Alice's route.
Right. So this entire time, we've been a creepy old man.
Yes, and there have been many hints for it. You may remember that things like in the very beginning of the game, Fi calls you Witch King.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There's also little comments like, I guess your hearing's starting to go. We heard most recently.
Yeah.
There's like little bits that imply
And someone
that you're
called
old.
us. And someone called us old. Dio.
Old man.
He called us old.
Post old man or
So-
old fart or
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is what he yelled at Timioji before.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is he calling us an old fart
Right?
or whatever? And
Yeah.
I was just like,
There have been lots of little references like that that imply that we're an old man. Without
and that's
actually
why
saying
our
it.
arms are robots. And he's distinctly remembered having
Yeah.
human ones.
Yeah, he
which
has
is still the funniest
He
phrase.
has robot arms because at some point in the last 45 years he lost them.
And he never noticed that there's a freaking thing on his eye.
It is so. One thing you may notice throughout the game is that in the cutscenes they never show Sigma's face.
Right. Which I figured that was important.
Right. The only time that you might be able to spot it if you're eagle-eyed is in the security cam footage where Kay is dragging Sigma and Phi into the room to throw them in. If you look closely, you can see that he's got old. He looks old.
But, oh my god.
Yeah.
Because the only other time that we see his face is when he's first kidnapped.
Yeah.
And he looks like
like that because that's when he
old
was.
Kyle here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never thought of the possibility that we were old.
There's more to it, which will be revealed.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm into this. This is great.
Yeah, the whole
Okay.
Schrodinger's cat thing kind of pays off with this whole Kyle Akane thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, you may still have some questions
Oh, of course.
because there's some things that don't quite make sense yet. But I'll let Akane.
Okay. She needs to keep telling. Sorry. That I'm glad we could stop and.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I said I was born and raised here, I was still pretending to be him.
To be
The
kind.
gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that.
With the
You
suit.
gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day all his life.
But
Except for now.
why would future me create a clone?
He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch.
So, this is a bit of I had a bit of trouble understanding this. Right now,
We are the
Sigma.
past conscious in
we
the
are
future
the past
body.
consciousness in the future body. That's why we don't remember doing any of this shit.
So we need so that means the future conscious is
in
now.
the past body.
So it's already happening. They've already been
They'll
sent
explain
back.
Not quite. You'll see.
That was the chief goal of the project.
Wait, so the future person goes into the past person?
Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes.
Do you remember this? We did find
Yes.
this. Yeah, remember?
No, it's coming to me now.
Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making. A is where everything began.
Is that the Nevada
December
test site?
25th, 2028.
That's the Nevada test site, which is what they were talking about. Timiochi was talking about before.
It's not 999 though, right?
No.
You inhaled the white smoke in
No,
your
no.
car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B.
These,
January 25th, 2074.
Where we started the game. So, right after the white gas thing happened, his current consciousness jumped to the start of the game.
Right.
Start of Virtue's Last Reward.
And then we jump to
B.
C.
You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
So we still have D and E to do.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact.
Oh my
Have you
God.
already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down.
We know.
So yes, 36 hours.
It seems like less
of
than,
real
fewer than
time
36
have
hours has passed.
Yeah.
But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes. Now comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past. It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
I think that's when the annihilation reactors are going off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Thank you, Timiyoshi.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal. Your
So if you'll
consciousness
live?
will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body until you reach point B.
So, right. So this is how the consciousnesses, like, merge together, if you will.
Do you remember when B is Sigma?
January 25th, 2074. According to what you just told us, it's 36 hours ago.
Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Point A. December 25th, 2028. The day all this started. So basically, the older consciousness, at the beginning of the AB rooms, when
Yeah.
we woke up with Phi, switched with him getting gassed.
Right.
That's exactly how it went.
Right. So we've only been able to follow 22-year-old consciousness, not 60 whatever.
Yeah. His 67-year-old consciousness is now back in time on December 25th, 2028.
He got the better end of this of that deal.
His consciousness will go back in time 45 years. For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past.
But once that body reaches point D, my 22-year-old consciousness will come back from point C.
That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at C.
So it's rotating.
Rotating? I suppose you could put it that way. But look at this illustration closely. What if you take all these lines and untangle them? You get one single line. It may look complicated, but in truth, it's a single straight path, with one exception.
This line here at point E, right?
Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse.
The day Radical 6 got out of the test facility.
Yes, by now you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago.
So the old version of me will keep Radical 6 from getting out. By jumping into my 22-year-old body on New Year's Eve 2028.
Yes, that is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D. In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from destruction and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
Okay.
So you get it.
Yeah.
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 Tell me one thing.
What is that?
You said that point C is January 27th, 2074, which is today. There's going to be a jump, and I'll jump to April 13th, 2029.
Yes, that's right.
But, look, I'm still old. When is this jump supposed to happen?
Very soon.
Soon?
Yes.
And what's going to trigger it?
We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Fortunately, we now have plenty of that. Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot.
And how do you propose to do that?
Didn't I tell you? A crisis. A moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain.
What do you mean?
You haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Dio's knife. No sooner were those words out of my mouth. Fie! I screamed and leapt toward them. Akane was already in motion, the knife diving towards Fi's chest. I was almost there. When I regained consciousness, I was on the floor. There was a dull pain in my chest. I felt for a cut, but something was in the way. It took me a moment to realize that it was Akane's body lying on top of me. I twisted my neck to look around. Nearby was an old tombstone. On it was written a few words in Latin.
Tu fui, ego eris.
What you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
How can 4 words
I know.
express that? So she killed us so that we could jump back. Okay. Okay. So we need to go back. We have to go back!
You gotta go back, Kate. Tarako, Zero the Third, same Japanese voice actress that did Monokuma's voice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And for the Japanese language.
Right.
I'm trying to skip this because we're not done yet.
Right. That's not anywhere near the end.
They're pulling some bullshit right now where they're like, and that's it. Sigma dies. Akane stabs Sigma.
That's it.
That's the end of the game.
How'd you like the game?
How'd you like the game?
How'd you enjoy this?
How'd you like spending 30 hours playing this game? Was it a good experience? Check out Clover Stein.
It great. Lots of boobies.
Wasn't it satisfying? Shinji Hosoi, or however you pronounce it, did a great job with the music.
Yes, the music is great.
Underrated soundtrack. Very like breakbeat, fun.
Yeah, I like the variety.
Yeah, very good variety.
Sometimes it's hard for me to get words out, okay?
So yeah, I guess we can talk while we're waiting.
I guess we should talk about.
Well, it's just we're not. All the reveals aren't done yet, but
I know.
some of the major ones are out of the way. So yeah.
Okay. So we are 0, which I wondered if that could possibly be it, but I wasn't sure how. I didn't know. I had 0 ideas as to how they could pull that off.
We're 0, but Akane's also 0.
Akane is always 0.
It is kind of annoying. It's like Akane was 0 in 999, and she's 0 again here.
Yeah, but I mean, I dig it. I don't hate it.
No, it's good. Akane, I have a lot to say about Akane.
I want to know who that is. Who's the one who gassed everyone? Because they haven't revealed that.
Oh, this is the Phi end, supposedly. There's more to come, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Look, we got all the.
Oh, that feels
all
so
the
nice.
endings. I know, right? But
Now
we
we're
have
jumping
this.
back even further. So if you scroll down, yeah.
I just want to see. So there's the
There's
Phi
old
ending.
Phi.
There she is. But yeah, we have another place to go. So let's go back to headquarters. April 13th, 2029.
All right, let's do it. Oh my god.
Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read. All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Okay.
For a moment, I just stared at the TV. The roar of the static seemed to fill the entire room, until with a click it disappeared too. Had the power gone out? I heard footsteps behind me and turned around. You!
Okay, Darth Vader. Oh, shut up.
Akane?
It looks like the first step was successful.
What the fuck? You killed me!
Killed?
I guess technically you're going to kill me 45 years from now, but still.
Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine.
I'm okay?
Yes. You and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. That was the only way.
Me and Phi?
Yes. I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump. Now, you know what happens next, right?
We go to the moon?
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods.
Alice and Clover, right?
Yes,
What about the third one? Who's in there?
Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from point A to point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are. And she still is.
Then that means that after you froze her, the point C version of her jumped back into her body.
Yes. The point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years, sleeping in ice.
Then when she gets to point B, her consciousness will jump to point A, right?
Correct.
So that's how they're gonna send her back. Huh. So that's why she didn't look old. So why don't you just stick me in one of those pods?
We can't do that.
Why not?
You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines. Otherwise,
Go be a genius.
you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the third AB room. Once you've done that,
The 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out, and you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
And then I change history. Do you really think I can keep the virus from getting out?
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die. Only you and Phi can save them.
What about you? Aren't you an Esper too?
I can't do anything on my own. If this is going to work, I'll need your help.
Is she an Esper?
Yes.
But she's more of a telepathic Esper, right? She doesn't jump.
It's hard to say right now. So what do I need to do?
What do you mean?
Like, what specific actions do I need to take? When Phi and I jump to point A, what are we going to do then?
You'll both enter the Mars mission test site.
And after that...
I don't know.
What?
I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical Six escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place.
What if we're the ones who make it escape?
Huh?
What if we're the reason it escapes?
Ah, crap. Then we're screwed.
That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds. We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility. Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle.
Wait. How do you know it's so dangerous?
The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus. So I suppose you could say you told me after you failed.
What did I say?
That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point, a woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
My arms and my right eye? What the hell? Suddenly, a low rumble shook the building.
So it's already happened.
It's already happened. What was that?
Go have a look.
Yeah, through the one window that's
Right.
inexplicably in the fucking room. I moved slowly to the window and peered outside. On the horizon, I could see a massive mushroom cloud climbing slowly towards the sky. Would we really be able to stop the change? What the fuck? Would we really be able to change the course of history? No, that was the wrong way to look at it. It couldn't be a question. I had to change history. We could save the world. I'm going to change history. I stared at the darkening skies above us and steeled myself. I would succeed.
End or beginning. Okay.
We're not done yet.
Right. So we know that we're going to risk ourselves for a woman. I'm assuming it's Phi.
Look. I like how they used the 2D animated version of Akane
Yeah.
right there, and the original voice actress from 999.
Yes, I thought it was her.
Yeah. Let's see. So we got a new place to jump to.
Oh my god.
The infirmary and another time.
Okay.
And so this is like something I think that we unlock this from doing all the golden files. And
So this is the bonus?
yeah.
So we're getting this before we get the final ending?
What we just saw is basically the ending. And we'll talk about it, trust me. I think this is the extra ending that we get from getting all the golden files. It's basically an epilogue.
Okay.
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
And from what I understand, this isn't exactly canon, what we're about to see. But I can't remember. There's something, one of the things that happens at the end isn't canon, but It basically it conflicts with something that happens in the next game, Zero Time Dilemma. But
Okay.
we're just gonna
Let's just do it.
so just kind of take this with a grain of salt, I guess. I can't remember which one it is. It might have been what we just saw. I don't know.
So if we hadn't gotten all the golden files.
I see you've finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle.
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
I lurched upright, jumped off the bed, and ran around the other side of the partition. The mirror over the sink was covered with a film of dirt. I wiped it off with my sleeve, and my reflection stared back at me. There was no mistake. The reflection belonged to
Kyle Climb. So, I'm Dr. Climb? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
An excellent question, one I didn't quite know the answer to myself. I knew who Kyle Klein was. In other history, he had been called K and had worn a suit of armor. He hadn't just worn the armor in that history, though. Apparently, he'd worn it in all his life.
I love Baby K.
Kyle had been born and raised in this lunar installation, which seemed to be called Rhizome 9. Rather late in his life, Akane had appeared as a mother figure, and he had consequently grown very attached to her. I knew everything about him, but even though I knew it, I didn't feel it. Was I really Kyle Klein? Every time I looked in the mirror, I saw his face. The spitting image of Sigma Klein in his younger days. I looked down. There was Dio, still handcuffed. I turned back around to Luna.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral. It just takes a while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. It should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Klein, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes. I've been administering Soparil whenever he gets restless.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right. Mr. Climb.
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber.
By the way, do you know who's voicing Kyle right now?
The
Okay.
real one.
Mm-hmm.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
You plan to return then? To Earth, I mean.
He sounds familiar.
Troy Baker.
Troy! Oh.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Climb now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, I'm just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. About 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. That all happened. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did or didn't do in the past that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. "Let's go northwest," he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually they'd gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Right. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working at a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories, friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they'd been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm just not going to accept that, all right? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not going to happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just going to disappear or something.
Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel.
Doesn't it just mean that he would open up another timeline in which all that didn't happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you think about it, it's real creepy because that means that there are timelines that have been opened up where they all die.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them die.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them are trapped forever.
Mm-hmm. So everything we've seen has happened.
Actually happens in a separate timeline, and just because we jump to another one doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right. It's not like we erased it or deleted it.
Right.
Why
it's
you
not
want
a
to
do-over.
return to Earth is clear.
Yeah.
You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
Of course. He is Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns.
Good summary.
Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we're completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand. But
Kinda sucks, though. I mean, Sigma and Phi have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
But we don't. We're stuck with Point C as our starting point.
You told us about Ten Myoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the northwest.
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, S's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of those 90 dead bikers would be sealed. But
it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest. We're stuck in the reality where the 90 bikers died.
Are we just supposed to go live on Earth? It's a wasteland now. And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Even if it is for the greater good?
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is one way.
One way we could get back to the past.
Let's say you do go back to the past. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different? How so?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have two Clovers and two Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's
cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
It's hard to like keep in mind that we're basically playing as K right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
because I keep thinking like, wait, who are we?
Right.
Even now, my second time playing, we're playing as K.
We're K right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Sure.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Oh, right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
Right, because this isn't Phi.
Yeah.
Anymore.
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a Merman or a Wolfman. I'm not a Brahmin or Kamen or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. although by then you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on January 25th, 2074, you were finally thawed out, even though you didn't wake up. Still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing you out and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Fortunately, your plan failed. The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from point E, you headed straight to point D.
Yeah, so instead of this timeline, went this way.
Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future.
Right.
It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places, and you moved 45 years into the future, where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation. Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1. Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
in
I
most
can't sit on the
situations,
side.
it works,
It hurt.
even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So was that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical Six in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
Then where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about. You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up.
It's true.
So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
I wonder if Sigma's consciousness split or something.
I shall give
You'll find
you
out.
your answer. You are not Kyle Climb. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think
Sigma?
about it.
I hate when they say
You
think about
really
it.
believe you are Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking, he has arrived at December 25th, 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the doctor loves Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Climb's spare, but that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus.
Yes.
For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him?
So look, now we're a question mark.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? You telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now, too. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
There's no way I...
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028?
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is shaped by what we believe reality should be. If observation can change the motion of a particle, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine.
I hope we're Junpei.
That's not what she's saying.
Yeah, I know.
Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world.
Alternative end.
So we are neither Kyle nor Sigma there?
What she is saying... what she is saying there is that she's talking to us, the players.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more fourth wall
It's
breaking.
fourth wall breaking. It's done very subtly, but that's what
Yes.
she's saying is... And that's what Fi was saying. It's like, you should know all this. So it's implied that, like, basically Kyle's an empty shell that we're controlling.
Right.
So there's no consciousness to inhabit him, I guess.
Right. But we know everything because we've been here all along.
And that's why it's kind of a weird little thing at the end. That's fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think it's non-canon. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But so basically, we can talk about Virtue's Last Reward now. But I also want to say that everything that they're talking about, December 25th, 2028 or whatever, they went back. That's going to be what Zero Time Dilemma is about.
Okay, that's what I was hoping.
The third game in the series is talking about the Mars test site in the Nevada desert in 2028.
Okay.
And what happened there with Radical 6.
Yes.
So that's what it's all about.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah.
As soon as I finished Virtue's Last Reward, I was like,
let's go play it.
Let's play Zero Time Dilemma.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I would be.
But I will just say real quickly that it's not what I expected.
Is John displeased?
I am displeased with Zero Time Dilemma. But we'll hold that off for later in the video. Let's talk about Virtue's Last Reward. So, what'd you think?
I don't like that it basically ended, if we ignore this alternative, it ended with Sigma being like, my arms, my eye! And then that was it.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So you're talking about back here?
Yeah, when June's like, or Akane.
Right,
like,
but that's...
You told me that you did that for a woman. That he sacrificed himself.
That's what we'll find out in Zero Time Dilemma.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't like that the ending is like missing that story.
No, but it's the beginning of 45 years of him preparing the rest of the experience.
Yeah, no, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. It just still
I mean, technically the game ends with him getting knocked the fuck out by Akane.
Yeah.
And sent back in time.
Right.
With Fi. So
right.
That's not exactly a better ending.
Okay, I was giving my opinion.
Your opinion's wrong.
That's what I was waiting for.
Can be ready to fight.
I am hangry.
I am too. We're gonna eat after this.
Yay!
But yeah. Okay, yeah. So anyway.
So the ending is weird, but I really like the twists and turns of the time jumping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really into that right now. Just in my media intake. But I want to know more about Fi still.
You will find out more about Fi. Fi is kind of still a mystery at the end of this game.
Yes.
And unfortunately, you have to find out like who she is and everything in Zero Time Dilemma. Though there are some hints in VLR.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I also think that Clover and Alice could have been used a lot better. I feel like their characters are wasted in this game because they built up Clover's abilities in 999 and they didn't use them at all here. And that's sad because clearly she has abilities. And like, where's Snake? Why couldn't we have him be somehow part of it? And then Alice, they beefed her up to be so interesting and what a neat idea, in 999. And then here it's like, I just thought the story was cool, so I'm like forever cosplaying. It's kind of the idea.
She's a MacGuffin. She's a red herring.
Yeah, and I don't like that.
Because like she shows up, she's like Byakuya being in Danganronpa 2.
Yeah.
Where in the beginning of the game you're like, why is Byakuya here?
And why is he so big?
What the fuck?
Why does he look so different?
Yeah, what's going on?
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder about like the timeline stuff. That's the only role that Alice has in this is connecting, the ending where she's hitchhiking and all the legends about the woman with Ice 9 in her blood, and just adding further intrigue to VLR. Unfortunately.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, the whole secret agent thing, playing spy, I was done with that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Because it just I don't care. Anytime, I mentioned this when they brought it up, but anytime there's a character that talks about like headquarters and like it's classified, I immediately lose interest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to be, I don't know, I want to be a different story than that. When it
Yeah.
comes to things like this.
I wish that it just could have been tied into what they were actually doing.
Yeah.
You know? Luna, I thought, okay, so do you want to do the rankings of the endings?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Just real quick though, like I think Quark, Clover, and Alice were the most disappointing characters.
Yes.
Dio, I like Dio, but not as good of a villain as Ace.
Right.
And I think like it would have been a small cast, but you could have had this game with just Sigma, Phi, K, Luna, Tenmyoji.
Yes.
Like you didn't need the extended cast, but 9 people and
Considering that Alice's primary purpose of being there was to do math in her head. I'm sorry, but you could have given that
just
job
put a calculator on a table.
Yeah, just give that job to Luna. She's literally a robot.
Literally a robot. I
So
know.
what the hell?
Yeah, some of the things are a little weak. I would say the game doesn't have plot holes. When I finished, I thought I had like a lot of potential plot holes in my head, but there is a TV tropes page, which I will link in the description, that pretty much answered all the questions I had about the game.
Oh, okay.
So
What were some of the bigger questions you had?
A lot of the stuff revolving on Radical 6.
Yeah.
Because a lot of that stuff didn't make sense to me.
I don't understand why they didn't. I wish they could have explained the progression of Radical 6 more in terms of like when they get infected to like when the symptoms start showing and everything.
Yeah, because there's some moments like, because one of my immediate thoughts was like, well, if they all have Radical 6, then how come they
didn't
they all like kept it together? What was that episode about in the security room where everything seemed to go fast forward?
Yeah.
Because it would seem that if you already had Radical 6, like time's already moving slower. But apparently the note that talks about Radical 6, like, and they imply that like you know the symptoms vary in intensity, and so like we had a fairly intense episode then, I think, was the explanation. There's a lot of things about Radical 6 that like you just kind of have to accept.
Because like Clover, Tenmyoji, Dio, K, and Phi didn't show any obvious symptoms.
The only people that did were Sigma, Alice, and Quark.
Yeah, and I think that that's weird.
Right. Yeah. I think it's just like
weird.
random chance.
Yeah.
But
I do wish that
I wish there was more variety in the routes in the game, because I would like.
Yeah.
Like the 8th time that Kay bursts into the room, it was like, Quark has collapsed. It's like, again?
Yeah, we do not care.
It would have been cool if it was like, Clover collapsed.
Yeah, Dio collapsed. Like a timeline where Dio collapsed would have been really cool.
However, at the same time, they would have had to make Alice and Quark and Clover more interesting if they were to do that, because they would be taking a more important character out of it. Like if they had Dio get Radical 6, then they would have had to have Quark actually have a personality and story.
Yeah.
So I think they had good candidates for taking out of the story Quark and Alice.
I wish that Quark was evil, because I loved the idea of Dio lying, like saying that Quark told me to betray you. Quark is the one who's actually bad. Yes. And I wanted that to be true, because how funny would that have been?
I had so many theories about Quark that ended up just...
Because that would have been so good, especially like if he had been involved in all the travel.
Look at Dio's face. Look at Quark's face.
Yeah.
Look at that blonde hair. As soon as it was like, all the Myrmidons are clones of each other, I was like, Quark's a Myrmidon.
Yeah.
Dio and Quark are both Myrmidons.
But Quark doesn't have blue eyes. Yeah. Yes, that's
Quark
what I wanted.
Brother.
I wanted Quark to be brothers so badly.
I know, but then he's just a kid.
He's just a boring child.
He's just a boring kid. There's so much potential. And I will say,
that would have been so good.
I will just say this about Zero Time Dilemma. There's so many moments like that in Zero Time Dilemma, which is what makes it so frustrating. There's so many moments where you're like, you have a moment like, Quark's a Myrmidon. He's brother.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you get the real explanation and you're like, oh.
Okay.
Well, I thought mine was way cooler, but okay.
I do want to say that as much as we're not really shitting on everything.
Shitting on VLR.
No, it's just, this is such a complex story to write. And I think that they did an amazing job. Like, keeping their timeline straight.
Right.
I don't even understand how
There's
you do that.
There's so much variety. Like,
that's crazy.
Look at all these branching paths. I think this is like the most branching paths I've seen in a game that like wasn't shit.
Yeah, this is insane. Like, this is a ginormous project, and I cannot imagine how many people and how much time was spent on this.
This is the best choice game with this much choice that I've played.
Yeah, this is outrageous. Like, just how crazy and like, huge it is.
You remember looking at like the branching paths for 999 and being like, whoa.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, just wait.
Yeah, you look at this and you're like, oh my god. Yeah.
So with all that said, to have 3 characters that are like disappointing is actually really good.
Yeah.
Like a third, basically, right, of the cast, or a little less than, is...
Yeah, 2/3 of the cast was really good.
That's impressive with everything that happens.
Let's go through our character power rankings.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so you go first. From worst to best.
Okay, worst, I have to say Clover.
Clover,
and
worst.
The reason I say Clover is because she packs the most potential of her tie to 999 and the things we know she's capable of and the relationships she could have been able to bring into this game.
She's so much smarter in 999, it seems. She's so dumb in this one.
Yeah, it hurt to see her reduced because like she was already kind of like, I made fun of her a lot.
999. She's one of my favorite characters in 999.
I made fun of her a lot in 999, and I know that. I'm not going to try and go back on that. But she was like too easy a target in this one for me to be like, Clover, all the time. Because it's like, oh, now she's just kind of pathetic.
So she's the worst.
She's the worst. Then I'm going to have to say, okay, so Clover, then Alice, I think, is going to have to be my second least favorite just because of the same reasons.
I would put Quark there, but yeah.
Yeah, but like Alice, I was really looking forward to Alice being the Ice Queen. Yeah, I wanted that because
Me too.
I love Egyptian history and blah, blah, blah. But I was really looking forward to like that being another aspect of all of this where like she has somehow like come from ancient Egypt and that's somehow like tied into all of this, that this isn't just like a
it's
mystery
an ancient thing.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of lost factor to it.
Exactly. And like it's a whole history of the world, not just of this like 45-year time period, you know?
Yeah.
So I was really looking forward to her, and that just, again, just made me so sad. And then Quark, because he was just boring and could have been so much more interesting, and he wasn't.
Right.
And then...
So we agree on our bottom 3.
Our bottom 3, yeah. And then I'm going to have to say... Okay, this is a tough one, because... Okay. I'm going to say that this next peer...
I hope you know I was kidding.
Is... No, I know. That's why I'm ignoring you. Is tied between 3 different characters.
Okay.
Dio, Tenmyoji, and Akane are tied for next for me. Because, again, it's all like very similar to before, especially with Tenmyoji and Akane. I was excited to see Akane, but it's just kind of the same stuff with her, where it's like...
She's not the same, like Tenmyoji said, she's not the same Akane from 999.
Right, which is fine. Like, I didn't care about that, but like she just served the same role, and there is nothing really new with her, except like she's not as happy and bubbly as she was before, or
and she's
sad.
much more cold.
Yeah, which I believe that. Like, that's
she
believable.
talked like she spoke like a golem. I mean,
yeah,
very uncaring, very like calculated.
Which, if she's been having to deal with this shit all the time, like, you kind of have
don't
to.
defend Akane.
I'm just saying.
Akane
These
sucks.
are my opinions. Anyway.
That's fine. You can have a bad opinion. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. So, Temioji, again, the same thing where it's kind of like, okay, so why did you adopt this kid? Like, there's just too many questions around it. I did like the reveals. The reveals were good. Like, when he first pulled out the picture of Akane, and you're like, look, it's Akane. And I was like, who's Akane? I don't remember. I know.
Yeah,
it was a bad moment.
Wasted moment.
And it was very sad. But now, once I remembered, I liked that twist. That was cool.
Yeah.
And that fact that he was old and blah, blah, blah. Like, very, very cool. And same with Dio. Like, these are all characters that I think could have just had a lot more, just like the other three. Yeah. But I liked that Dio was part of a cult, because I think cults are fascinating and terrifying. I liked that there were clones involved. I liked that we're getting real big, and now you can see all the spots on the faces.
It's fine. I thought it'd be good to have us both.
Oh, look at that.
Stop it.
See, now we look like gamers.
God. Just keep going.
Oh my God.
Just keep talking.
Anyway, I like being tiny on the screen. So Dio, Temioji, and Akane there just could have been so much more. What? Oh, I just told my watch I was working out. Anyway. And then
Let's
Luna.
try to stay concentrated on the task at hand.
Did you not hear me just now? And then Luna. And then K. And Sigma.
And Phi. Well, Sigma and Phi.
All right.
Way down here.
I would say Luna, then Phi, then K, and Sigma are on the same pedestal. So Luna, after my three-way tie, Luna, and then Phi, and then K and Sigma. K and Sigma are on the same. They're both my favorites because they're very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Okay. I'm very similar. I think I have the same bottom three. Although I really didn't like Akane in this game. But for the intrigue that she brought, I would have to put her in the middle with Tenmyoji. Mm-hmm. I found that this game kind of like ruined the image I had in my head of Junpei and Akane, which was very idealistic at the end of 999. But to just see this version of themselves, Junpei clearly so desperate to find the woman that he hasn't seen in 45 years. And he cares so little about her by the end that he doesn't even say goodbye to her because she's completely different. It's very sad to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he carried around a picture of her in his pocket. I mean...
But yeah, he was searching out for someone who didn't exist anymore.
Yeah, basically.
It's sad.
And like the idea that she would spend like 45 years, basically doing God knows what. Did you notice that she was wearing a Free the Soul cloak in the cutscene in the past?
Is that what that was?
Yes.
The red and black?
The red and black. It had a Free the Soul red symbol on it. It was the same cloak that Snake wore in 999 when they found him in the coffin.
I knew it looked
she
familiar.
never addressed it. Yeah.
That looked familiar.
Yeah, she was wearing a Free the Soul cloak, which is of course a brothers organization. Very odd.
Yeah, I want to learn more about Brother, and I think that's Snake.
Honestly, that scene where she's wearing that is never really explained. Unfortunately. Although I have my theories.
Because then why would Dio want to kill her?
Right.
If she's...
Right. It did.
Unless she's working undercover?
That part doesn't really make much sense. You would assume that she's undercover, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Because isn't that the same cloak she wears when she gasses everyone?
Yeah. Yeah, as Zero, because she had the gas mask on. But, yeah, I don't know. Tenmyoji, Junpei and Akane in this game, they just kind of didn't sit well with me. I think it's cool that they're in the game, and they provide a lot of intrigue by their presence.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I didn't really... I would have preferred... I think I would have preferred to have all the 999 characters not in this game. It wouldn't have had the same premise, obviously, because it wouldn't have centered around Akane working her magic. But also, you get kind of like this psychopath vibe from Akane in this one, where like she's seeing all the timelines and she's fine with just having them all slaughtered, for example, in the Clover ending, and just all the awful things that happen to them. Yeah. It's like Temioji's saying at the end, what about the timelines where it didn't work out so hot? They still exist. and they exist because of Akane creating this game. And she's playing God, basically.
Right.
And yeah, it's to save the world or whatever, but
I like that she's really a villain in a lot of ways.
She really is a villain in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I like this kind of anti-hero villain role she has.
It's like, she arguably started off a chain reaction of events when she decided to save herself in 999 with Junpei. That's another thing that kind of annoys me. Junpei did all that to save her life in 999. And then, according to this timeline of events, after they got in that car and then they did that whole thing where like, oh yeah, June and Santa are ahead of us, right? According to this timeline, he hasn't seen her since then.
Yeah.
Until now.
Yeah.
And that is bullshit.
Yep.
That is total bullshit.
I want to know what happened between...
Like, she saved herself so that she could, like, immediately, basically, go do this.
Yeah.
Which is, when you think about it that way, it's, like, it's kind of even worse, the things that happened in 999, because it seems like it was all manipulation of Junpei.
Which...
And she, like, the more I think about it, the more she comes across as very manipulative, cold... psychopathic, whatever else you want. I mean, she comes across very warm, especially when she's young. But like as she's old, I mean, she sounds like an AI when she's the announcer. I have so many problems with Akane, and they're only worsened in Zero Time Dilemma. But
I'm excited to see that.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'd put them at the same.
Yeah.
Dio, I would put next. I would put him a little higher than them just because I like having the smug, well, what are you going to do about it? Kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I liked Ace more as a villain. Then I would say Fi, just because she's more of like a mystery X factor in this game than anything else.
Yeah. I want to know more about
Like,
Fi.
I wish more had been revealed, but again, next game.
Right.
And then I would say Luna, Kay, and Sigma were my three favorite characters. I think they brought the most intrigue. They knew the most about what was happening. Luna and Kay did. You find the most about the game in their endings and stuff. Like, I think two of my favorite endings are Luna and Kay's ending.
Yeah.
Although I do like the drama of Dia's ending, where you actually see the surface and you don't think you're ever gonna go out the number 9 door, and then you do. I think that one's really cool for that. So I would rank his ending higher than his character.
Yes.
But otherwise, like, the rest of them kind of fall along.
Suit.
Although Tenmyoji's ending is just Quark talking about the root beer float. And it's like fuck
hour.
this. I don't care. Tenmyoji, he writes you that after Tenmyoji betrays you and they go out the number 9 door. It's like, I don't care that he bought you a fucking root beer float. Quark?
Yeah.
Get your head out of your ass, Quark. You stupid fucking kid.
I promise that Tenmyoji's a good guy.
He bought me a root beer float once. Shut the fuck up, Quark. I'll kill you myself. You little shit.
Like, especially since we're 22-year-old Sigma in our old body.
67-year-old body.
We don't know that a root beer float's like a big fucking deal.
Yeah, we don't fucking get it.
Yeah, to us it's like a $2 purchase that you can get any day.
Since the Earth was flattened by annihilation reactors, apparently it's a big deal.
Right. Which makes sense now that we know that. But at the time, it's just like, this is stupid. Who cares?
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, Akane. Fuck you, Tenmyoji, Junpei. Fuck you, Quark.
Yeah. Quark, get out of here. Go home.
Yeah. But all that to say, Kay, Luna, and Sigma were my favorites.
Yeah. Luna had a much better story than I thought she would, but she was still really annoying.
I don't understand why you thought she was so annoying, but
because you can see the pattern in my thinking over all the games that we've played together. If there's ever a really
yeah, she's framed to be a milquetoast, awful character, but then she's not.
So you know how you stop caring about characters when you're it's classified, and you're write them off immediately? That's exactly how I am with
But she turned out to be
girls.
interesting.
Yes, and that's great, and thank God.
Clover and Alice didn't.
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer.
You need to give Luna more
I
credit.
just still don't. I don't like how her character was portrayed for a lot of it, but I loved her story. So it's the same thing as Dia. Like, her ending is ranked way higher than her character is for me.
What was your favorite ending? Because mine was K's, I think.
Oh, I was going to say it's a tie between K and Fi's.
Oh yeah, Fi's like barely counts in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's like the trigger.
It's like the last thing that you see.
So outside of Fi's, probably K's.
Yeah.
K or Dio's. Those are
Quark's worst ending. Not even Quark's doesn't even count. It wasn't even an ending.
It was an Akane ending.
Beyond that, I kind of like Clover's just because everyone dies in it. But
which wasn't that her ending in 999? Everyone was just slaughtered.
Her destroying. Well, no, the characters don't have their own endings in 999.
Oh, there was just the ending of Clover slaughtering everyone.
Yeah, the axe ending. Yeah.
I liked that.
The axe ending, the knife ending, the sub ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I liked the axe ending because I love maniacal serial killer Clover.
Yeah, it's great and it's unexpected.
Yeah, I like the villainous women.
Right.
Because it's just so good.
So you like Junko, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember your opinion.
Yeah, no, I like her.
So, that was Virtue's Last Reward. Again, if you have any, if there's anything you're confused about, the TV Tropes page that I'm going to link in the description basically clears everything up. At least I found it to be pretty airtight. There's some things that the explanation isn't great for, but it's acceptable. It's not like... One of the things that I hate about these games is that a lot of times people, don't think about them enough. And they just are like, I found a plot hole. What the heck writers even thinking? This is a major contradiction. But then they never look it up. So I'm linking it down so you can. So if you think that you're smarter than the people that made the game, you can find out that they had an answer for what you're thinking about.
Just research it. That's all. Yeah. Before you start claiming plot hole.
And like I said, that extra ending I think is non-canon. So.
Yeah, I want to look into that.
The another time part.
I think that's clever. I thought that was a really clever thing once it's understood that that they're talking to you, not as a character, but we now have the voice of Troy Baker, which is pretty
that's
cool.
why he's voiced and
Yeah. Because he doesn't voice any other character, right, in the game? No. Just ?
No.
That's cool.
So, he voices ? Which is implied to be us.
I like that, because that...
And that's why, and when she says, only you can save the world, she's saying, basically, play Zero Time Dilemma.
Right. It's a prompt for the next game.
They're selling you on the next game.
Which, I mean, but that's how it works. Because, I like the idea that we are the fourth dimension.
Yeah.
I like that. Or even fifth dimension, however you want to think about it.
Yeah, we're the fifth dimension.
I like that. I love when they get that meta.
Okay, that's enough out of you. Let's wrap this up. Just kidding. So let's talk about Zero Time Dilemma real quick, unless you had more things to say about VLR.
I don't think so. It's going to have to take its time to sink in for me. It's a lot.
So Zero Time Dilemma is the third game in the series, and it was made, I think, about 6 years after VLR? Maybe 5 years? It's a longer period of time than there was between 999 and VLR, and I think for a long time it seemed like it might not have been made. One of the major differences is that Zero Time Dilemma was actually developed by a different developer. It was published by Spike Chunsoft, and it has the mastermind of Zero Escape still behind it, but I can't even remember the developer name, but they basically outsourced a lot of the work, and it comes across the animation's very janky.
Oh no.
It's very weird. There are some spots where it's nice, but there are a lot of moments where it's what the fuck am I looking at? Unfortunately, this is as good as the games look.
Oh no.
And you may coming over from 999, it's a big stylistic change, but hopefully you got used to it after a while and you were like, I like it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Zero Time Dilemma, I never really got used to it. It's just, you have to, and then, oh my gosh, there's just so many things about it that are so frustrating. And I don't want to
get through it together.
I don't want to bash it and say it's awful. There are definitely redeemable moments. It still makes you feel sometimes the way that Zero Escape can, where you're like,
yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. The twist, or this hits me right here, my chest is tight. It still kind of has that factor to it at points, but there's so many weak moments. And this is the apex of the series, I would say. And unfortunately, it hinges on answers from Zero Time Dilemma. Because there's still, like, what happened at the Mars test facility? How was Radical 6 released? What's going on?
Yeah.
Basically.
What else happened?
What was it all for?
Yeah. Like, who's behind all of this? Who developed Radical 6?
Yeah, and you find all that out. All the questions technically get answered.
Okay.
But I was not satisfied by it, so I would just warn anyone going in to temper your expectations with it.
Okay.
With that said, when are we going to be playing Zero Time Dilemma? So, first of all, I'm in no rush, I'll be honest. I was kind of in a rush earlier this year to get through this game because I think this game's great. I would put this like on the level of the Danganronpa games, which I really love.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get through this. As far as playing through Zero Time Dilemma, I'm in no rush. And after the absences that we've had for this series in particular,
which we didn't want to do, but
we didn't want to do.
We also didn't want to be recording all the time exhausted.
Yeah, well, we also just didn't have time to get together and sit down for an hour and a half at a time to record an episode. It just wasn't going to work out that way. But since that's happened, I said recently on the community tab a while ago when I posted about the future of the series that we aren't going to post more series on this channel until they're finished.
So we'll play through it all the way.
The new policy is that, like, if we post Zero Time Dilemma on this channel, we won't post part 1 until we are all the way done with it. So I don't know when that's going to be. I like having the little teaser at the end of these videos that I've been doing the past 5 series where it tells you the date of the next one, but I'm not going to do that anymore. So
yeah, we just don't know.
I'm just not going to post anything to this channel until it's done because I can't commit to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will be posted, and we'll let y'all know when it happens.
I don't even want to guarantee that it will happen. I want it to happen. I want it to happen.
Okay,
but
that's
I mean,
fair.
we there was like 3 months. There was 3 months in between VLR videos.
I know that. God, yeah.
So I don't want to make any promises.
But we want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would just help complete the series if we played Zero Time Dilemma on the channel, but
yeah,
we'll see.
It is a goal.
Yeah. So that's that. I will be doing some more series now that VLR is done on the channel, but again, I won't be posting them until they're done. So I don't know what they are right now.
Okay.
But I'll be posting some solo content too.
Yeah. Because you are what the people love and people need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love you too. Yeah, so that was VLR. I loved it. Hopefully you did too. And yeah, I don't really have much else to say, I guess.
Yeah. No, thanks for joining us on this journey and being patient for the videos to start posting again.
Thank you to everybody who remained supportive and wasn't rude.
Yeah.
During the absence.
We really appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, because people being rude to me for not posting is not what I made this channel for. So it was just kind of disappointing to see.
Yep.
During the absence.
Yeah, because a lot's happened on our end, so.
Yeah.
That's just how life goes sometimes. All right, guys.
All right. Well, we'll see y'all when we see y'all.
Think critically.